6 championship rings, 6 NBA MVPs, 4 Olympic golds are some of the key achievements of Michael Jordan's incredible basketball career. How did he do it? How did he sustain such an incredible performance level over so many years? By leveraging a few core high performance secrets. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, Leon Castillo here, CEO and founder of Selfmastered. We help entrepreneurs scale their businesses by teaching them 8 core high-performance skills that reliably and predictably transform their personal performance. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. There is a few videos every week to help people like you reliably and predictably transform yourself in a laser-focused top performer. So, today I want to discuss the career of probably the best basketball player in history. And this is the story of Michael Jordan, someone who conquered 6 NBA championships and was able to perform at his peak for years on end. Not only that, but he got that extreme drive for competition into the business realm, and today he's worth $2.2 billion. But how did he achieve this in just half a lifetime, because Mr. Jordan is still alive and kicking? Well, by leveraging 3 core high performance skills that made all the difference. The first secret is mythologize yourself. Truth is that Michael Jordan didn't want to be the best player in history. Everything he has done throughout his career was trying to redefine what basketball means and how to be number one in that new definition of basketball. He didn't want to play by the rules that others had set for himself. He wanted to be so good that he could be remembered as the innovator of the basketball game. He was not trying to be number one. He was trying to build a legend, something that superseded the game of ball. And the way he acted on the court, the way he trained, the way he talked to the press, everything he did in his day-to-day life was founded on this idea of being a force of nature that happened to choose to play basketball. That's how he approached his everyday performance, by knowing that he was building a myth of himself. And that's what drove his extreme competitor instinct. So that's secret number 1, mythologize yourself. Secret number 2 is enforce high standards and actualize them frequently. So Michael Jordan was already a standout college athlete and he was NBA Rookie of the Year, but this was not enough. He continuously wanted to improve his game, seeking to enforce the highest standards that he could to make sure that last week's top performance was this week's minimum performance. By pushing himself and his teammates to excel, he was able to extract high performance from each and every person that he competed with and against. He was the number one at pushing himself and enforcing the highest standards for himself, and therefore he would take it personal if other teammates wouldn't be on the same page. In fact, there's a story about how the Bulls lost against the Detroit Pistons in the playoffs, and in just a space of 5 to 6 months, Jordan was able to pack 15 pounds of muscle just to sustain the physicality that he knew he needed to elevate his game. He was always trying to enforce the highest standards and make sure that never rest on his laurels. And this brings us back to the story of Frank Slootman, the Dutch executive, that one of the core secrets that he leveraged was exactly the same: how to make standards as high as possible so we never deviate and never lower the guard. Secret number 3 is work on your weakness. So the truth is that Michael Jordan was extremely good at identifying the bottlenecks within his system, understanding his weakness and working on them. Against the mainstream advice of double down on your skills and just hide your weaknesses, he was so clear about the fact that the only way to become the legend he wanted to be is by training everything, and training everything is what he did. In fact, borrowing from the theory of constraint, which pertains to the management philosophy, it says that the limit of a system is the weakest link. So what Michael would do was self-assess in a 360 manner what was the limit of his abilities and work on that. In fact, when he started his career, Michael was a very good offensive player, but he lacked on the defense front. What did he do over the years? He became one of the best defendants in the league. By constantly understanding that the only way of building the legend he wanted to build was by really being number one, he worked on all the weaknesses that he was able to identify about himself. Instead of resting on his laurels, he would constantly seek to become better at the things he lacked the most. And this is really what drives superior achievement, understanding that nobody's going to save you. You need to really be the best at all points, on all fronts, and you need to make the necessary steps towards becoming the best. You need to pay the price, in other words. If you're bad at defense but very good at offense, you are not going to be the legend you want yourself to be. You need to be as good on defense as you are on offense. So work on defense more than you work on offense in this specific case. And these are the 3 secrets that Michael Jordan leveraged to become the legend he became. 1, mythologize yourself. Understand that you are in this world to be the hero of your own journey. He understood himself as a force of nature and made sure that everybody around him related to him in the same manner. Which leads us to idea number 2. A legend cannot rest on his laurels. You need to enforce the highest standards you can for yourself and for your teammates to make sure that today's performance is miles ahead last week's performance. That's how you become dangerous in a short amount of time. And finally, idea number 3, work on your weaknesses. We all have weaknesses, and our responsibility is to find out what is the biggest problem we face at all moments and solve that first. Develop the skills that transform our performance for good. That's how complex systems evolve, by really solving the bottlenecks, not doubling down on the strengths. I hope this was useful. Please let me know in the comments if you learned anything about Michael Jordan that you didn't know. And of course, if you want a proven program that takes these 3 core ideas and helps you find your weaknesses, mythologize yourself, and gives you the tools to enforce the highest standards for your performance, apply for the Selfmastered Evolution program. Let's see if this is something that you can use to take yourself and your business to the next level.